Okay, so we're just going to do a little quick bit of the lighting for this lamp that we had created in a previous lesson. And so we have our nice little detailed lamp here, and it's sitting on a little table in the corner, and we'd like to get some quick lighting in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go over what we did in the class and just kind of give us a little bit of how we can get a lampshade and get some stuff going on. So first, I'm going to create a little light bulb. So I'm going to create, let me turn off, actually turn on interactive creation, sphere, and there you are. This is going to be our light bulb on the inside. It's a little big right now, but that's okay. And just going to a top view really fast is a nice, good, quick way of getting stuff lined up the way you want it and getting the scales down the way you want it. That works out pretty well. Close enough. And so I'm going to go inside of this sphere, grab these bottom pieces, and I'm going to extrude that down. Actually, first I'm going to pull it a little bit like so, and then I'm going to extrude that. Use my regular move tool. I'm going to soften these horizontal edges. There we go. And I'm going to grab, actually I'm going to go back to my, let's go, Hypershade Render Perspective, go to my materials, I have a bunch of them. I'm just going to make a brand new one for this surface. So just real quick, I've talked briefly about what materials are, and for right now I'm just going to hide the material viewer and the properties just so I can go through the attribute editor because I'm old-fashioned that way. And for those of you with smaller screen space, it may make life a little bit easier. So I'm going to right click here. I'm just going to keep it really simple and create materials, and I'm just going to do a Lambert. Even though a bulb is glass, we're not going to see any of the effects of that glass because it's going to be lit. So that I'm going to call this one light bulb underscore sh for shader. Okay, so material shader, and we could see it right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to let me just make it totally white with its color. Now that won't be enough, and I'm just going to go in, select it in face mode, and do a drag select and just grab the whole top of it. And we can see I'm only grabbing the front, so what I have to do is kind of change some things. Turn off automatic camera based. now, oops, so we don't want those. There you go. So I just have that. And I'm going to right click. Oh, where is that little material I just made? Oh, you know what? I bet you I did not save that name. So I'm going to right click on it. This is the one I made. And say assign material to selection. Let me just call this one again. Lamp shade, or excuse me, lamp bulb shader. There we go. So there it is there. Whoops, you know what? I made a quick mistake because I realized there's already settings on that one. I cannot find the one. The only reason I'm worried about changing it, basically how you assign a material to any of these is you right click and you say assign material to selection. That selection can be to whatever object or faces that I actually have selected. So like if I right click and then I go in and I say I want to create a brand new one for some other material like glass or something. We'll talk more about these properties later, but basically I would choose a material and then I would actually, it's a good idea though, there's a lot of extra stuff from things I imported I need to clear out of this later, but you would essentially just, you would make whatever material that you want, and each one has its own properties. And when you do that, then you can change the properties, and this is what sells something that it's going to be glass or brick or wood or shiny or reflective or bumpy or all these other things. So, okay, so this one's actually, I can select objects with the material and you'll see it'll highlight it. And I just want to make sure what the heck that is. Yeah, it's attached to other things. That's the only thing I want to be careful of. Well, I was trying to be a little more careful, but I got distracted for a second. So, here's what we want to do. I'm going to go back to this guy here. And there we go. So I'm just going to do one more and I'll clear out the stuff later. Create material Lambert. Now I'll call Lambert 7 bulb. Just make it simple. Press enter to make sure it's set. And once again, I'm just going to apply it. There's that Windows button again. I want to apply it to all these faces. And if it ever, like, man, I'm only getting the front, not the back, turn off. There we go. So now I've got what I want. And so now all I have to do, if you look, I can actually look at this a few different ways, and that's what was throwing me before, is that I can actually balloon these out with these buttons, which will show the size, and then it's easier for me to see what their names are. So like if I use this one, oh, there's one right there. Whoop, we'll just use you. It's a lot easier to see now. But now if I select this material and I say, you know what, I want this to be white. I want the ambient color. I don't want it transparent. But the ambient color, I'm going to crank up to pure white, and you saw it got brighter. And basically all that's doing is that's making it so that this is not acting like light is hitting it. It's illuminated, or it's acting as if there's an even amount of light hitting it from all directions. which basically, just makes it look like it's just as bright on the back that it is on the front at all times. And if I want to add an extra pop to it, I crank up incandescence, which will really give it a real strong kind of a little bit of a intensity to it. And then the last thing I would do is I'm just going to go in, I'm going to crank up the translucence. And translucence people confuse with transparency, but they're two different things. So the transparency is when I make something transparent. Translucence is when you make it that light can pass through something. So I can actually crank this up. For the bulb, actually, I'm not going to need it. For the lampshade, I am, but this little guy is going to be important. So for the bulb, I just have color, ambient, and incandescence cranked up. And, oh, there's one other thing I want to do. I'm going to go under effects. So right now I'm inside of the material that I made. I'm just going to crank that up just a little bit. Back up. And we'll just take a quick look. Now, I've not put any lights in this room. It's really dark. So, assuming that I'm actually in the room, which is the other fun thing. You want to make sure that your camera is set to an angle view of 90. So that when you're in a closed, tighter room, you can actually squeeze more into the camera view. The reason it was white is because my camera was the outside of the wall, and I literally was just looking, from the outside staring at a wall that's like 2 inches from where the camera is. So right now the only light source, or what would be light source, is Final Gather from this little bulb, which that looks pretty cool. It's just that it's not really illuminating anything. But just in itself, that looks good. Okay. Now we're going to do one more for the lampshade after we've set up some lights. But that's just doing the light bulb material itself. So that was a Lambert attached only to those faces. We modeled out a quick light bulb. And basically we just set it up like that. And ultimately what I am going to do is I'm going to actually take this bulb and I'm going to move it up here because that's a little bit more accurate to where the light probably should be. A little bit higher, or maybe not that high. And I'm also going to tell it in its properties in the attribute editor not to cast or receive shadows. And then I'm just going to take the top of the center of this. And make sure you don't have anything else. I know that because my manipulator's dead center of that. Don't accidentally get some of the lampshade and stuff. I'm just going to lift this pipe up a little bit that's holding that bulb up there. See? Just like that. Okay. And that works pretty well. And then, so the last thing would just be the lampshade and the lights.